In the annals of modern history, few organizations have cast a shadow as dark and enigmatic as the Order of the Solar Temple. Founded by Joseph de Mambro and Luc Jouret, this secretive cult promised enlightenment and salvation, but its true nature was shrouded in mystery and deception. To understand the dark journey of the Order of the Solar Temple, we must first explore its origins and the men behind it. Joseph de Mambro, a charismatic and manipulative figure, believed he was the reincarnation of a Templar knight. Luc Jouret, a homeopathic doctor and New Age lecturer, was drawn to de Mambro's vision and became his co-founder. Together, they forged an ideology that blended Templar-inspired rituals with apocalyptic beliefs. The cult's allure was magnetic, attracting wealthy and influential members from across Europe and Canada. They promised their followers a path to spiritual enlightenment and a privileged place in the New World after an impending apocalypse. The Solar Temple was more than just a belief system. It was a tightly controlled environment where de Mambro and Jouret wielded immense influence over their followers' lives. Their teachings were shrouded in secrecy, only revealing the full extent of their doctrine to the inner circle. The combination of ancient mysticism, futuristic prophecy, and the promise of salvation created a potent mix that ensnared many. But behind the facade of enlightenment, darker motives were at play, leading to a tragic and fatal conclusion. The Order of the Solar Temple was shrouded in mystery, and its rituals were no exception. These ceremonies were not merely symbolic, they were the lifeblood of the cult, designed to reinforce the group's dogma and maintain control over its members. The rituals often took place in elaborately decorated chambers, adorned with Templar symbols and esoteric paraphernalia. Members donned white robes and participated in ceremonies that ranged from the seemingly benign to the profoundly disturbing. One such ritual involved the purification of new members, where they would be cleansed of their past sins to prepare their souls for spiritual ascension. This obsession with purity was a cornerstone of the cult's beliefs, echoing the ancient practices of the Knights Templar, who they claimed to be spiritually descended from. As the ceremonies progressed, the atmosphere would grow increasingly intense. The leaders, Joseph de Mambro and Luc Jouret, would deliver impassioned speeches, often claiming divine revelations or apocalyptic visions. The followers, entranced and obedient, would participate in rituals involving candles, chants, and secret hand gestures. These acts were designed to create a sense of unity and shared purpose, but also to isolate members from the outside world, making them more reliant on the cult for guidance and salvation. Visual reenactments of these ceremonies reveal the eerie and unsettling nature of the group's practices. Imagine a dimly lit room, filled with the flicker of candlelight and the low hum of chanting. The air is thick with incense, and the tension is palpable as members kneel before their leaders, awaiting their next command. The rituals of the Solar Temple were more than just a show. They were a means of control. By immersing members in a world of mysticism and secrecy, de Mambro and Jouret could manipulate their followers' beliefs and actions, leading them down a dark path that would ultimately end in tragedy. These ceremonies, while bizarre and enigmatic, serve as a chilling reminder of the power of ritual and the lengths to which some will go in the pursuit of spiritual ascension. The Order of the Solar Temple was not just a religious group, it was a masterclass in manipulation and control. Leaders Joseph de Mambro and Luc Jouret wielded power through a calculated mix of fear, prophecy, and mind control. Their followers were not just believers, they were captives of a psychological web spun to keep them in perpetual submission. De Mambro and Jouret claimed divine insight, presenting themselves as messengers of a higher spiritual realm. They foretold apocalyptic visions, instilling a profound fear of the outside world. Members were convinced that only through the Solar Temple could they achieve salvation. The constant reinforcement of these doomsday prophecies made leaving the cult seem like a death sentence. The manipulation didn't stop at fear. De Mambro and Jouret used sophisticated psychological tactics to maintain loyalty. They told their followers they were chosen ones, destined for spiritual greatness. This sense of being part of an elite group created an unbreakable bond among members, isolating them from family and friends who were seen as unenlightened outsiders. Financial exploitation was another dark facet of the Solar Temple's control. Members were coerced into giving up their life savings, believing it was a necessary sacrifice for their spiritual journey. This wealth was hidden and hoarded by Mambro and Jouret, funding their lavish lifestyles and further entrenching their power. The combination of fear, psychological manipulation, and financial control created a perfect storm. Followers were trapped, both mentally and financially, unable to see the reality of their situation. The leaders' promises of spiritual ascension masked a sinister agenda, leading their followers down a path of no return. In the end, the Order of the Solar Temple was a grim reminder of how easily faith can be twisted into a tool for control. The tragic fate of its members serves as a cautionary tale, urging us to question, to seek truth, and to never surrender our autonomy to those who claim to have all the answers. The Order of the Solar Temple was more than just a cult. It was a ticking time bomb fueled by apocalyptic prophecies. Joseph de Mambro and Luc Jouret convinced their followers that the end of the world was imminent. They preached that only through the Solar Temple could one survive the impending apocalypse and transition to a higher spiritual existence. De Mambro and Jouret painted vivid pictures of a catastrophic future, natural disasters, societal collapse, and cosmic upheaval. They claimed to possess divine knowledge, positioning themselves as the only saviors. Their followers, gripped by fear and a yearning for salvation, were drawn deeper into the cult's web. The leaders' prophecies didn't just serve as a warning, they were a call to extreme action. Members were indoctrinated to believe that to ascend to a new spiritual realm, they must participate in specific, often dangerous, rituals. These included isolation from the outside world, financial sacrifices, and even acts of violence. As time passed, the tension within the cult grew. De Mambro and Jouret's prophecies failed to materialize, causing doubt and unrest among the members. To maintain control, the leaders doubled down on their apocalyptic visions, insisting that any delay was a test of faith. Desperation set in, and the leaders escalated their demands. They convinced their followers that the ultimate act of faith was to transition to the spiritual plane through death. This led to the tragic events of October 1994, where over 50 members, including children, perished in a series of orchestrated murder-suicides and arson attacks in Switzerland and Canada. The Solar Temple's apocalyptic prophecies were a powerful tool of manipulation, driving its members to the brink. The chilling outcome serves as a stark reminder of the dangers of blind faith and the catastrophic consequences of extreme beliefs. In the wake of the apocalyptic prophecies, the Order of the Solar Temple descended into a horrifying chapter of its history. On the night of October 4th, 1994, the world was shocked by a series of synchronized mass suicides and murders. The first grim discovery was made in Switzerland, where the bodies of 48 members were found in chalets, arranged in a ritualistic fashion. Some were drugged, others shot, and many were burned alive in an inferno that consumed their sanctuaries. As investigators delved deeper, similar scenes unfolded in Canada and later in France. In each location, the bodies were found with ceremonial robes, arranged in circular formations and surrounded by occult symbols. Among the dead were children, families, and high-ranking members of the cult, all victims of a meticulously orchestrated plan by Joseph de Mambro and Luc Jouret. The leaders manipulated their followers into believing that these acts were their final passage to a higher spiritual plane. They used a combination of fear, psychological control, and promises of eternal salvation to drive their members to the brink of insanity. De Mambro and Jouret did not just command these deaths. They participated in them, ensuring their own deaths were part of the morbid spectacle. The tragedy didn't end there. In December 1995, another wave of deaths occurred in France, where 16 more members were found in a forest, also arranged in a ritualistic manner. The synchronized nature of these events across 3 countries highlighted the extent of the leaders' influence and the depth of their followers' indoctrination. The mass suicides and murders orchestrated by the Order of the Solar Temple remain one of the most chilling examples of cult manipulation and the catastrophic consequences of blind faith. These tragic events serve as a stark reminder of the dark potential that lies within the human psyche when it is twisted by charismatic and malevolent leaders. In the wake of the mass suicides and murders orchestrated by the Order of the Solar Temple, the world was left grappling with a multitude of unanswered questions. The international investigations that followed aimed to piece together the events leading up to that fateful October night in 1994. Authorities from Switzerland, Canada, and France worked tirelessly to uncover the truth behind the deaths. As they delved deeper, they were met with a web of deceit, manipulation, and secrecy. The mysterious circumstances surrounding the deaths raised chilling questions. Were all the victims willing participants in a mass suicide, or were some of them murdered to maintain the facade of a collective, ritualistic exit? Forensic evidence and testimonies from surviving members hinted at darker truths. Some bodies bore signs of struggle, suggesting that not everyone went willingly. The shocking revelations about how deeply the cult's influence spread added another layer of horror. High-ranking officials, respected community members, and even law enforcement personnel were found to have been entwined in the cult's sinister activities. The investigations also unearthed a complex network of financial transactions, revealing how the leaders siphoned millions from their followers, promising them spiritual salvation in return. This exploitation of trust and faith only deepened the tragedy. Despite the extensive inquiries, many questions remain unanswered. What drove seemingly rational individuals to such extreme actions? How did Mambro and Jouret maintain such a tight grip on their followers' psyches? And most hauntingly, could such a tragedy happen again? The aftermath of the Order of the Solar Temple's demise serves as a somber reminder of the fragility of the human mind and the dangers of unchecked authority. As we remember the victims, we must also remain vigilant, questioning the motives and actions of those who claim to hold the keys to enlightenment. The Order of the Solar Temple's harrowing saga has left an indelible mark on the world's perception of secret societies and cults. As the dust settled from the tragic events of 1994, the legacy of this enigmatic group continued to haunt investigators, survivors, and the public. For those who delved into the case, the unanswered questions and the sheer scale of manipulation and control exercised by Mambro and Jouret remain a chilling reminder of human vulnerability. Many investigators struggled with the psychological toll of uncovering the dark truths behind the cult's operations. Survivors, too, grapple with the trauma of losing loved ones and the haunting memories of their time within the cult. The Solar Temple's impact extends beyond its immediate victims, casting a long shadow over how society views secretive groups. Its story is often compared to other infamous cults, such as Heaven's Gate and Jonestown, each marked by a charismatic leader, a promise of salvation, and a tragic end. These comparisons provide a historical context that underscores the recurring patterns of exploitation and control found in such groups. Heaven's Gate, led by Marshall Applewhite, saw 39 members commit mass suicide in 1997, believing they would ascend to an extraterrestrial spacecraft. Similarly, Jonestown, under the leadership of Jim Jones, ended in 1978 with the mass suicide of over 900 followers in Guyana. These cases, like the Solar Temple, highlight the dangers of unchecked authority and blind faith. The legacy of the Solar Temple serves as a sobering reminder of the fragility of the human psyche and the perils of surrendering one's autonomy to charismatic leaders. It calls for increased vigilance, awareness, and education to prevent such tragedies from recurring. As we continue to explore the depths of human belief and behavior, we must remain steadfast in our commitment to seeking the truth and protecting the vulnerable. As we conclude our deep dive into the Order of the Solar Temple, it's crucial to reflect on the lessons we can learn from this tragic chapter in history. The story of the Solar Temple is a stark reminder of the dangers posed by secret societies, the manipulation of vulnerable individuals, and the catastrophic consequences of unchecked power. The allure of exclusive knowledge and spiritual enlightenment can often mask the sinister intentions of those in control. Joseph Mambro and Luc Jouret exploited their followers' deepest fears and desires, leading them down a path of no return. Their story serves as a warning to remain vigilant against those who seek to exploit our vulnerabilities for their gain. Despite the extensive investigations and numerous theories, many mysteries still surround the Order of the Solar Temple. The true extent of the manipulation, the complete list of victims, and the full scope of their operations remain shrouded in secrecy. These unanswered questions continue to haunt survivors, investigators, and the families of those who perished. As we close this chapter, we invite you to reflect on the implications of such groups in our modern world. How can we protect ourselves and our loved ones from falling prey to similar manipulations? What measures can society take to prevent such tragedies from occurring in the future? We encourage you to share your thoughts, theories, and reflections in the comments below. Let's keep the conversation alive, stay curious, and remain vigilant. Together we can learn from the past to build a safer and more aware future. Stay curious, stay safe, and never stop questioning.